today we will be taking a look at how to use Oracle integration to power Fusion AI agents. A quick intro on what Fusion AI Agent Studio is. What the agents do is they leverage a large language model to reason, make an action plan. In some cases, if you turn it on, interact with human employees for approvals, to gather the information and then take a direction and basically make a tool call. The Agent Studio provides a design time environment that provides a set of tools to create and customize all of these agents. This is built natively into Fusion Cloud applications. So when you go into your SaaS environments, if you have the correct roles, you will see under the tools that you have the Agent Studio option there. And then also, because this is natively built into Fusion Cloud, this provides secure access to the Fusion knowledge stores and the APIs internal. So when you create an agent, it leverages a large language model, right? So an LLM to talk to whoever is interacting with the agent to understand the question and then take direction on which tool to call based on the question asked. And that's why there are a set of tools that are provided when you create an agent, right? And some of these tools are, the business object tool, which provides access to the Fusion knowledge stores, right? All the underlying business objects within the Fusion applications, you can access those. And again, since this is native to the Fusion Cloud, you're not making a call outside. There's a document tool. In this case, in this example, we'll take a look at that as well. But you can upload a document and then the agent can then scan through the document, get you an answer based on the question asked. Some other tools are, user profile, calculator, email, deep link tools.
And the one we're interested in here for this demo is the MCP tool. With this tool, you can securely connect to external MCP servers, use their capabilities inside of the agents without needing to build additional REST wrappers. So now moving on to the demo portion for this video.
We're just assuming that there's a database that's on-prem or private in another cloud. And as a part of the interactions with the agent, it requires to look up some details in the database. In this case, particular example, the agent is a benefits agent that has access to things like the documents, the enrollments, business object, and then also when in cases where you're enrolled with some provider and you make claims as an employee, their claims are stored inside their systems and their databases. And a user or an employee here inside of Fusion is trying to ask for the list of claims that were made in this year. And when the agent gets that question, it's going to invoke an integration call, and the integrations is then gonna go and look up the claims database and return a list of claims that were made for this year for that user. With integrations, you can unlock endless possibilities in the sense that there are 100 plus prepackaged adapters to create integrations to these systems, right? And if there isn't an adapter for that particular system that you're trying to access, you can always use the technology adapters, REST, SOAP, file, FTP, to talk to these systems and either post or get information.
Okay, so let's take a look at the integration that I'm going to call from my agent. This integration is accessing an on-prem database and getting a list of claims back. The input parameter to this is the EMP-ID that is available within the Fusion environment, which will be passed in, and based on that EMP-ID, does a lookup and returns a list of claims in a JSON payload. This is the endpoint URL, and this is the response sample. Okay, next let's go ahead and add this active integration as a tool. So in the menu inside of the projects, you'll see now there's a new icon for the agents, and in here there's a section for tools, and I will click this plus here, and it'll bring me all the list of the integrations that are active. and I wanted to select this one. Also pulls in the description that I entered when I created the integration. And then I can enter in optional guidelines to give it guardrails, description that will help the LLM understand what this field is. But in this case, it's all self-explanatory, so I'm not doing that. I'll click on save, and the tool is created successfully. Now I have an MCP server already enabled, but in case you haven't, you click that pencil, the menu opens up, you click this to enable the MCP server, and you get the URL from here. Next, let's take a look at the Fusion AI Agent Studio. I'm in my Fusion environment. Under my tools, I can see the AI Agent Studio option because I have the correct roles. And when I click into it, it'll load
To the AI Agent Studio homepage. At the bottom, you'll see all the options or components of the Agent Studio, the agent teams, agents, and tools, and then some more options to configure the agents. So what we're interested in during this demo is the tools section.
Okay, so let's add a tool. I'll select MCP, call this YC MCP benefits. I'll select the family as common, others, and in description, YC MCP tool. And for now, I won't select this, but you can add that. And in here, we need the instance URL. So we'll go back to the OIC page, copy the MCP URL, come back here, paste that. The transport type is streamable HTTP, and the credential type is going to be client credentials. Now, how to get the token URL and client credentials, I'm sure there's multiple videos out there explaining how to create a confidential app in OCI IAM domains to get the token URL and the values for the client ID secret and all those things. So let me just copy over the format. And basically, you need to give a JSON payload here with 4 keys, grant underscore type, scope, client underscore secret, and client underscore ID. And all of these values, of course, you can get from that confidential app that you create in the OCI domain. Except for this is hard-coded client credentials. Once you enter these details, you click on Update, and what this will do is this will go and get the list of available tools on this MCP endpoint. And here in itself, they have a playground, so I can test things out if I wanted to. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll just type in EAPID. I know that's the parameter. They show the detail here up as well. And I can click on Preview, and this will go and fetch the details, meaning everything's working good. So I'll click on Cancel. I'll select this one. This one I don't really want for this use case, so you can just ignore that. And then you can click Create, and it'll create the MCP tool for us.
Next, let's go to my agent teams. And I already have an agent team for the benefits advisor. And I'll open the one that I've created. And you'll see here in the agent teams, you can do it 2 ways. You can create an agent, add a tool to the agent, and then in the agent team, come and add the agent. But here I just directly went into agent teams and created the agent here, right? So if you take a look at this agent that I have, it is a worker agent that I've added. I've given it a name. And then the prompt here, right? This is what it actually takes in the AI agent to understand what it needs to do, what its responsibilities are, how to identify what tool to call based on what information, and all those things, right? So here I have for claims, any sort of claim question, call this tool to receive claim information. And then at the start, I have given it a responsibility as well. Then the tools for my agent here are, a lot of different tools. The main ones being the get user session. So whoever is talking or interacting with this agent it can get the user session, and this basically, if you look at the details, it just fetches the person number of the logged in user. This comes in handy when you need to do more lookups, right, based on whoever's interacting. In this case, then it's going to call the benefits enrollments and the public workers to get worker information, as well as the benefits information. The worker information is, get the worker by the person number. So get user session, then get the worker. So this gives us, things like address or things like enrollment IDs and all the details of the person or the worker. There's this document tool that has all the documents for our benefits. So if I ask a question about my benefit, it'll do a lookup and it will then, provide me an answer. And then the one that we have here is the claims tool, which, is the one that I just showed. This is just a reference to that tool. So yeah, let's run it and see it in action. Just by typing hi, you will see it'll give me my person number, person ID, name, email, and then some other details, right? And this happens because in the prompt, we've tell the agent to get all the details whenever someone starts chatting. Right? And we can see the string of calls it makes, right? First, it takes the hi in, uses an LLM to understand what the question is or whatever the user inputted. Next, it calls the get user session. And when I click this, it'll show me, the user details, and particularly we're getting the person number here. But basically, it's internally just calling the business object to get the details of the user. Next, it sends that to the LLM that, this is the prompt. This is what I got as a part of the tool response for get user session. What do we do next, right? So then it, has a series of calls and LLM requests, which it uses to also create this structure from that JSON and understand whatever we've typed there. Okay, next I asked view current enrollments, and it called the business object to get a list of enrollments that I have, and it display it in this sort of format, right?
So up to this point, I asked hi and view my current enrollments, and those were all internal calls to the tools internally, no external calls made. But when I ask the agent to get me a list of claims I made last year, using the instructions I gave it, it understands I need to call the OIC MCP tool and return the list of claims. And in the details here, we can see, if I scroll down to the point where it's making the call, that it actually made the call to the get claims for employee API integration via the MCP tool that we created. And if I come back to the integration, then I'm able to see what it sent to my integration was the employee ID and the response that it got back. And this is what we see in the Fusion AI agent.
So yeah, that was just a sample to show you how you can use Oracle integration as the middleware to broker communication between an AI agent and some sort of private resource, right? With Oracle integration, you unlock endless possibilities. You can, connect to databases, queues, topics, file servers, any sort of file-based integrations as well. And then if there are, systems where there aren't APIs, right, you can use the RPA tool to connect, pull information, push information, all sorts of things. You can kick off, approval flows, human interaction flows, assign tasks, using the process automation, and then also the decision service to use complex decision trees and decision tables within your AI agent flows. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hope this was helpful.